Now you chose to break this book down into 4, I guess, issues or types. So it's race, gay, women, and trans. Was that difficult to nail it down to those 4? Was it ever going to be 3 or 5?
There were a couple. No, there were a couple more I could have done and decided not to. You could put some of the green stuff in this,
right?
Because it's definitely taking on whatever the debates on the science. There's definitely a religious aspect to it now. I think is almost undebatable.
You say religious. Explain that.
Oh, I mean, the paying of indulgences in carbon tax, the belief in primordial original sin, the expiation of guilt. It's got something that most post-religion religions don't have, in that it not only has the guilt but the way to atone for the guilt, which is clever and attractive. I could also have done one I did think of but decided to avoid because it sort of seeps through the whole thing, is mental health. I think there's a huge discussion to be had about all sorts of complex things about why mental health has become the issue it has, what in it is totally plausible and what we're behind on understanding, and what is being overreached in that debate. But I decided that those were the green one is being done quite a lot, and the mental health one I think needs a lot of time and space on its own. And it's not quite as deep a tripwire at the moment because it's still sort of asserting itself as an issue.
Yeah.
But everything to do with LGBT, relations between the sexes and race are they're the nature of almost every day's news. They are the thing that can get anyone, irrespective of everything else they've done. I give the example of the Nobel Prize winner Tim Hunt, but a cabinet, we're sitting in London, former defence minister here was found to have 15 years earlier put his hand on a female journalist's knee. She smacked it away and said, if you do that again, you're getting a smack around the chops. That was it. That was the end of the incident. Now you can say, well, that's bad behaviour, obviously. But 15 years after that happened, somebody wrote about it and he had to resign. And I just find that fascinating because that's a defence minister. Like that's a serious role,
right.
And it's seriously interesting that, as I say, I'm not saying that's great. Like I'm not saying everyone should put their hands on the knees of the person beside them at dinner, anything like it. It's just the assertion of a certain set of moral norms in our time, including behavioural norms, is shifting, has been shifting very, very fast, with, I think, just not very much discussion. And I mean, that's why I wanted to do the women chapter in the way I did, was to say, what are the things, at the same time as there are things that we pretend we know about that we don't really know about. Like we don't know as much about gay as we pretend. We know relatively little, and we definitely know very little, nearly nothing about trans. But we pretend to be incredibly certain about these things. Oh, well, that person's trans. They say they're trans. Yeah. But at the same time, you have these things which everyone knew till yesterday, and they pretended they didn't know, or they've forgotten, or we never did know. And that one, the most striking example of that is in relations between the sexes.
Okay.